You can tell me if I'm in focus, if I'm in shot.
You're in the shot.
There you go.
Yeah, you waved in the shot too.
All right, we all ready?
We're ready.
Never ready.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all
Let's
right.
get you in there.
Okay. You don't need to get me in there.
All right.
You're gonna, I want you in there. You're the
Cutting your head
star,
off.
not me. She said you're cutting your head off.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll make this quick. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, you might want to have the papers in front of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Action.
Action. Good evening. This is Jerry with We Love World Cricket International. We have Drew Thomas with us, world famous entertainer and illusionist. In our group, we asked our group members to come up with questions for Drew Thomas, and that's what we're doing here today, this evening. We're on the beautiful Freedom of the Seas. We're cruising together. Drew will be doing his show tomorrow evening on Freedom of the Seas, and I've seen the show several times. It's beautiful. I've also seen Drew's show down in Orlando, his new show Transparent. It's absolutely a stunning show. We had a great time when we were down there. So we're going to just kind of move right into it really quickly here. So we're going to ask Drew some questions, and he's going to try to, to answer as best as he can. Some of the questions are kind of funny, so we'll just get on right in it. This comes from one of our administrators, Cheryl. Drew, what is your most difficult trick to master, and where did the idea come from?
Oh, wow. Most difficult. I don't know that I have necessarily the most difficult, because all of them are pretty challenging. However, there are some that involve like a lot of technique with like close-up magic involving my hands. And it's going to be pretty hard to master and get smooth every single time. But honestly, for me, the most challenging was when I created a brand new illusion that I did on America's Got Talent, where 7 of us traded places on stage. And that by far was the most challenging, because I chose to create this thing from scratch, and its debut was on television live in front of several million people.
Awesome. Yeah. We saw that show. It was a great show. This comes from Lucy. She's another one of our administrators. What was the first magic trick you mastered?
The first magic trick that I ever mastered, Mom bought me a magic kit. I dumped everything out. I then took the box that everything came in and cut it up to make up my own magic tricks.
Oh,
True story.
Okay, that's awesome. Bobby, another one of our administrators, he asked, will you be on Freedom on July 26th? 2015.
Ooh, good question. Yes, I will. The question is whether or not I'll be here the week of the cruise beginning July 26th. And yes, it'll actually be a really important week, because we'll be installing a brand new cast, and you'll be seeing also some new illusions that week.
Oh, Bobby, you're in luck. You're in luck. Let's get these new drink stuff.
You're in luck, Bobby.
And Bobby, we're going to try to get your meet up with you also while you're on here. This comes from Cheryl again. How long does it take to practice a trick before you master it?
Wow. Most of the things that I work on when I introduce a new trick, most of the things require several months of practice. However, a lot of techniques and methods are built into things that I've done over the course of my entire life. Sometimes we can introduce new material that's based on some old methods, so therefore we can introduce new material quicker, and doesn't necessarily take months, but maybe weeks to get in. So it really depends on what the effect is, and if it's completely from scratch, never been done before, or a derivative of something that I've been familiar with for a long time.
Good. Okay. Those were, wait a minute, I got one for me right here. Here we go. All right, you don't have to answer.
He's reading his own question.
Yeah, I'm reading my own question. I want to make sure I get it right. And this is a question you're not going to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do you disappear and then reappear in the middle of your show on this cruise ship? Thank you. Next question. All right, this is from an RCI crew member, Tam. Have you ever seen a magic trick that was so good you thought, wow, that was otherworldly?
Yes, I have seen some magic tricks that really blow my mind, that take me to a whole other place. And I'm like a kid again. I'm like you watching a show going, okay, I have no idea. Darren Brown, he's a magician out of the United Kingdom. Phenomenal. Not like these TV magicians who are doing things that shouldn't be done. This guy's amazing.
Great. Okay. All right. Tam asked another question. Do you ever pull a rabbit out of a hat trick in any of your shows? Do you do that rabbit out of a hat trick in any of your shows, or have you ever done it?
Good question. Have I ever pulled a rabbit out of a hat? Specifically, no. Have I made a rabbit appear in my show? Yes. No. Yes, I have done this. I've just remembered. I did actually pull a rabbit out of a hat back when I was working in the Nutcracker, Columbus, Ohio, many years ago. I did it there because it matched the period, the time which the show was set, so it made sense. But to do that nowadays would be kind of outdated because people don't wear top hats anymore. I guess I'd have to pull one out of an iPhone or something.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, hey, a new illusion coming up. That's a good idea, huh?
And that's how it's created, right there.
There you go. That's it. All right, this comes from Jim. Can you copyright any of the magic? And if so, have you ever copyrighted any of your magic?
Can I copyright illusion? That's a really good question, Jim. Yes and no. You can copyright the style of performance in which it's set in, but you cannot copyright the actual trick itself. You patent it. But by patenting a routine or patenting an illusion, technically patents they're not public domain, but the public has access to them. So if I patent something, if you know what to look it up, how to look it up, you can then look it up and exactly see how it's done. So this is why very few illusions have ever been patented.
This comes from the Royal Caribbean Facebook site. Has magic ever helped? Oh, okay. Let me redo that one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Has magic ever helped you score with a lady, maybe as a date? So I really chopped that one up. But yeah, you got it on the idea.
Basically, the question is, do I use my powers for evil? No, I don't. I've never used magic to pick up women. However, I have to admit that it's part of it because I was socially awkward, so that never came naturally to me to even consider that. However, I did realize its power later on in my life when I played Dracula and I did magic. And after the show, the women in the lobby who were meeting me, woo! That was a really interesting experience. Dracula and magic, he's got a lot of power.
Oh, yeah. This comes from Cheryl again. When using an audience member, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened?
Wow, funniest thing that's ever happened when working with a volunteer. Honestly, one of the funniest things that ever have happened and continues to happen occasionally is when I get a little kid up on stage who suddenly just takes over and does things that seem more out of character for their little size or for their little stature, and it literally just brings an audience into hysterics because it's so funny, it's so amazing. But that's as close to something funny that I've ever had happen with a volunteer. Kids are awesome.
Well, it's like whenever we were at your Orlando show, the young man we was up on stage, but he busted out this dance. I don't know if you remember that, but I mean, he did this dance, and I was like, he's the winner. He won, yeah. It was awesome, yeah. All right, this comes from the Royal Caribbean site. What does your family think about what you do?
What does my family think about what I do? Thankfully, they're very supportive. My parents were never in magic, but they are entrepreneurs. They own their own business. And then, of course, my wife and my children, they've been around this for the entire time. And my wife used to work with me as my assistant on stage. Now she's staying home taking care of the babies. So she can understand what I do and relate with it because she's also a performer and has done this for many years. My kids now are showing the bug. They want to get into show business, so and they make me look like an introvert. So get ready.
Well, we know you love your family very much, too. So I really like that question. This comes from your page. What's the wildest thing that's ever happened while you perform?
Oh wow, that's easy. So there's actually a couple different ones. I'll give them to you in little snapshots. One, working in SeaWorld years and years and years and years ago. It was like actually one of my first professional jobs a long time ago. And we had this gentleman who worked in the show who did like the pre-show. Well, he and my beautiful female assistant decided to mess with me during the show. So I go to look to her to bring out something to me on stage, and it wasn't her, it was him. In her heels, in her shorts, in her top, and her bra, all tied up, the makeup, the lipstick, the whole 9 yards. I didn't skip a beat, by the way. Other than that, it was 2 stories also from the Nutcracker from kind of a moment ago when I mentioned doing a period routine. Here you have the staunch ballet where it's very serious and proper. 2 things. One, wiped out on stage. Like, I'd slip and boom, big cape went over my head. That was embarrassing. But the best one was when I made a duck appear and it ran away from me and into the orchestra pit. And just like watching a Bugs Bunny movie or a cartoon, you hear the cymbals crash, the orchestra come to a screeching halt, and the 3,000 people erupt with laughter like you've never heard before. True story, the ending of the ballet, the conductor comes out carrying the duck, brought the house down.
Oh. You're killing me, Phil. Oh my God. This comes from the Royal Caribbean Facebook page. What kind of music do you like?
What type of music do I like? I like everything. I find it to be truly my vehicle of inspiration. I listen to music and it gives me good ideas. It gets me into a certain mindset. And so what I'm famous for, however, is ruining music for my family. Because we'll all like a song and it's catchy, it winds up in Daddy's show, and then Mommy and the kids go, wait a minute, we don't like this song anymore because you've played it a million times on stage. You're welcome.
There you go. All right, Drew, this comes from your page. Do you have a tour calendar, and are you planning any kind of tours or any worldwide tours anytime soon?
So, schedule online. No, we've not posted a schedule online. That is coming up. We're going to be adding it because I'm doing a lot more traveling throughout the United States. Most of it is domestic in the United States. We really haven't tapped into much outside of it, though there's a lot of interest. It hasn't happened. So just stay tuned to Facebook, Drew Thomas Magic Man on Facebook, and there is a calendar that's coming up. It'll be fully populated with everything that I'm doing, both on land and at sea. There we go. Ahoy, mateys.
There you go. Very, very good. Awesome. This comes from your page again, Drew. If you perform with any standard, one of the questions you always hear, but it's a great question. If you could perform with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
Hands down, without a question, Michael Jackson. Boom.
Really? Why?
Michael Jackson inspired me to. I don't do any dance on my show, but back when I was a little kid growing up, I was inspired by him because he was the most, outside of watching David Copperfield, he was the most magical individual performer I've ever seen. And I had never learned to dance, and when he pretty much pioneered the advent of MTV by creating these amazing music videos. I decided, as a young white kid, decided to start learning to dance like Michael Jackson. I have no idea why, but that's what I thought was a cool thing, and I got into it. Actually, won competitions and whatnot, and he's just one of the most passionate, amazing performers we've ever seen. Beyond just his musical capability, but it's the power, the presence inside of him, phenomenal. I want to be him when I grow up.
There you go. I've seen the one where they actually put him into a music video, actually passion.
Right.
That is too wild.
Slave to the rhythm,
God.
yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. This comes from the Royal Caribbean site. If you were not an entertainer, what would you be doing?
Growing up, I wanted to be an architect or a stuntman. I wound up being both.
There you go. That's exactly right. Is any of your members of your family, in other words, is there any entertainers in your family, your heritage or anything like that?
Good question. Do I have any entertainment background, like in my family? Immediate family, no. But technically, I am a distant cousin of Roy Rogers.
Oh, there you go.
No one, not very few people know that. That's an exclusive here.
There you go. Yay! Exclusive. We always get the exclusives, y'all. Okay, here is a great question. I think out of all the questions we had, this went at the best. How would you describe your show for an audience if they've never seen you before?
So how would I describe my show if you've never seen my show before? Wow. It's not going to be what you expect, without a doubt. It's not going to be what you expect. People think of magic have a certain idea, a certain preconceived concept. Not at all. Many different layers. The engagement. Wow. You're not going to know what to expect. That's it. Sorry. That's it. Period.
Very good. That's an excellent answer, I think. I would agree with that. 100%. Seeing shows, I would agree with that totally. This comes from Karen Griffith Ratcliffe. Hey, Karen. We're so happy you enjoyed the cruise. She's the first time cruising with Royal Caribbean. She had a great time. What is the largest thing you've ever made disappear?
Wow, the largest thing I've ever made disappear. Actually, I haven't really done many of those types of like illusions where you make like a large object vanish. Whereas I have made motorcycles and NASCARs appear on stage. So this is the largest thing. Actually, I'm sorry, here on the Freedom, what is it? 8, 9 people vanish in midair on stage every night that I do the show.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. All right, this comes from Valerie. Hey, Valerie, I love you, Valerie. What is your favorite meal?
I have to categorize it as Mexican, hands down, without a doubt, Mexican.
There you go. He had Mexican for lunch today, y'all, by the way.
Yes, I did. Guacamole.
Okay, this comes from, and this is, you know what? This may be even a better question than I don't know. They were both top questions in my mind. This comes from an anonymous VIP that we have. I can't suppose it is there an unspoken tension between old school magicians and newer illusionist magicians?
Good question. Are there tensions between old school and new school? I would say so, probably. Because there are those that are on television right now who are doing things that old school would never ever even consider. In fact, Greg Wilson is a very famous older magician, but what I'm trying to say is he worked very, very hard to bring magic to television in the 50s. And he did amazing things to bring it to television and did wonderful things on TV. Mark Wilson, Greg Wilson is his son. And he actually wrote in an industry publication for magicians about how hard he had to work to prove how good magic would be on TV and how people would appreciate it and enjoy it. And not think that we were using the medium and manipulating it to our advantage. Unfortunately, that does not stand true today. Magic on television today with, I don't want to sound too out of place here, but there's a certain individual, when they do magic on television, 99% of it is CGI, it's not magic. Some would argue, well, that's magic today. That's a good point. However, if I want that magic, I watch Steven Spielberg and George Lucas in Industrial Light and Magic. When I go see a magician, I want to see a genuine magician really fool me. That being said, he's still fooling us, but I disagree with how and why.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about too. Okay, we'll switch gears just a second here. This comes from one of my very good friends, Missy. Would you rather be stuck in a booby-trapped elevator with McGuire or Batman?
You had me at booby.
But it's trapped. Okay. All right.
What? Okay.
This comes from the Royal Caribbean site. What happens when magicians have a conference? You make each other disappear.
That's a great question. Do we magicians at our industry conventions make each other disappear? No, unless we put a hit out on someone. That's about it. Sorry, we're not mafia at all. No. However, we are constantly trying to figure out ways of fooling magicians, which is a lot of fun, but a very different animal than entertaining the general public. And there are magicians, and they're phenomenal, and then there are magicians who entertain the general public, and there is a vast difference.
Okay, very good. This comes from the Royal Caribbean site again. Why are there not many lady magicians, and do you know any?
I do know, the question, why are there so few female magicians, and do I know any? Yes, I do know some, and I think it's, unfortunately, just society. You know, they automatically, assume that, their boys are going to do this and their girls are going to do that, and I just kind of think how that's I don't know, how do I put it? It's a default, but it's not really what people are feeling. Girls love magic just as much as boys, and it's fun to see these young women who are aspiring to do magic. They're doing great and they're killing it. In fact, we have several up-and-coming female magicians, so keep your radar up for magic, because you're going to see some amazing women coming up with magic that are going to blow your minds.
awesome. Yeah. I know just in the cruise industry, there's very few rated captains. We do have some, but Royal Caribbean has, I think, two. One of them being Captain Liz. There's another captain, she just escaped my head. I just can't remember her name. I apologize about that. But it sounds like kind of the same thing, you know.
Sure, sure.
It's always been like that. So,
Time for a change.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. All right. A couple more questions, or you good for a couple more questions?
My arm's not falling off my body yet.
Okay, all right, okay. This has been one of our group.
Oops.
There you go. Who's been your biggest influence in your career?
Well, besides Jerry King, I would go with David Copperfield, hands down, and prior to him, Doug Henning. Both of them phenomenal entertainers, and the best compliment I've ever been paid from those who remember them on television is that I'm a combination of the two, and I think that's the best compliment I could ever be given. Because Copperfield had the modern abilities, Doug Henning had the likability.
What about Houdini? What do you think about Houdini?
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Just kidding. Houdini's, of course, amazing. So many of my first illusions were ones which he helped make popular. So Houdini, to this day, is still the biggest name in magic. And he died over 100 years ago.
Exactly. This is a great question. How do you come
Almost
up
100 years, excuse me.
Well, actually, we kind of answered this. We might kind of answer this question just a second. How do you come up with your ideas? I'm sorry. Let me back up there. That's actually my question. How did you come up with your idea for the snow experience story? And how do you make it snow? I know you'll answer like that, but hopefully you'll answer first.
So, what is the origin of snow? Snow is something that we created many years ago. It was about wanting to, for me, I'm not completely commercial. I mean, I really enjoy doing this because it's what I did ever since I was a little kid. And I love trying to give people, my audiences, these experiences that I had when I was a kid, when I first experienced magic. And snow was something that I love how it could potentially affect an audience. And to also tie in the message of basically the important things of life and capturing those moments, hanging on to them, is what that is all about. And that's the reason why it came to be. And I'm updating the routine. I've been doing this for many years. I'm updating it. I'm getting a new version here on the Freedom, which I think fans of snow, which there are many, they're going to love what I'm doing with it next.
Okay. I know I have watched it on YouTube, between here on Freedom, your show, but on YouTube, I probably watch it 1,000 times. If I'm having a bad day, two things I go see. I go see that, and I love to see your GoPro on the Freedom. That one is just phenomenal. I love the GoPro on the Freedom. And then you have another one where you're on the airplane, when you do that 1 minute mental break.
Oh, right. Yep.
And I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I just know, as y'all see, I probably
Walk in the Clouds. That's what that was. Walk in the Clouds.
That's exactly right, yeah. There was one question we were going to ask, and I wasn't going to ask it, but do you have any stalkers? And I'm going to ask, yeah, he's got a couple of stalkers, I promise you. So, let's see here. This is a fan question. Comedians are famous for referring to a tough crowd. As a magician, what kind of audiences have you found to be the most easiest and the most difficult to entertain?
Great question. Audiences who are the easiest to entertain and who might be somewhat more challenging. Well, I'm just going to say it because we're in a new millennium, which is great. Some of my favorite audiences that I've ever worked for, audiences which are largely made up of the gay community or African Americans. They have a great time. They're not worried about what's going on around them and what people think. They're there to have a great time, and they are phenomenal. So that are audiences, had a few drinks. I guess that one's easy.
That's an easy one.
But the point is, really, it's as an entertainer, you want people just to relax and have fun and not think too much about things. Just trust in the fact that you're going to have a great experience. And there are certain groups of individuals who are more ready than others, and those are two of them, and they're awesome. I've entertained both frequently, and I love all my audiences.
Absolutely. Okay. We have one more question for you, and this is the last question. We appreciate you taking the time with us. I really appreciate you taking the opportunity to come with us on this cruise. We know you got to leave after your show, but we were very thankful that you come with us on Sunday through the house and do stuff like this. been absolutely amazing. This last question is, I give you an elephant, where would you put him?
If he gives me an elephant, where would I put him? That's a loaded question. Wow. Well, for me, first and foremost, this is a serious answer. Release him back to the wild where he belongs.
Okay. How about put him in his trunk?
This is what I gotta put up with.
Drew gets these all the time, folks. I'm telling you. I try not to drive him crazy, but he does get me. Oh, I sent him one earlier. Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much, Drew. You're going to find Drew on Freedom of the Seas. You can go to Drew Magic Man.
Yes, on Facebook, Drew Thomas Magic Man.
I'm sorry, Drew Thomas Magic Man on Facebook. Go there. He interacts with his fans a lot, so go on there and tell him you saw this interview and such as that. We appreciate that. Drew is on Freedom of the Seas, and do you actually put out your Freedom of the Seas, or is it just like every other week, or you just ask whether you're going to be on Freedom of the Seas? Or?
Oh, virtually every week.
Okay, so
Minor
anyway.
exception.
Okay, very good. So you usually will find Drew there. He's doing his big Transparent show, and as he stated earlier, he'll be putting out that. I think you're in Tampa.
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg. I'm sorry.
July the 11th.
July the 11th. St. Petersburg. You have any other dates, or is that the only one you got?
That's the only one for the summertime right now.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. Well, Mr. Thomas, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And from We Love World Caribbean International, we really, really appreciate you being in our group. And we had fun doing this, and we look forward to doing it again.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, everybody.
I love Royal Caribbean International.
There we go. There we go. See y'all later.